Coach.
Okay, we're excited to be back home for another home game, have homecoming. That's a big deal for our fans, a big deal for our players. In the health update, Jeff Whitaker will be officially out for this season. He will redshirt. Obviously, that's a blow for our defense, but at the same time, it'll be good for the future. Justin Garrett will not play this week, but it'll be week to week after that. You're really looking forward to practicing. I've told our guys that we're focused on getting better each week of each week, and this week will be no different.
Questions?
Guys, how did Jeff in particular take it, starting with him, and then Justin as well, because he obviously had such a big spring, and to now be dealing with this long?
Well, first of all, Jeff, I mean, he's kind of been playing banged up the last year or so anyway, and I think it'll just be good for him and to be healthy, and so that's our goal, to get him healthy for next year and have a chance to have his best season.
And for Justin, why week to week as opposed to the red shirt at this point?
Yeah, we're just going to see how he reacts. I mean, he wants to play, and we'll just see how everything happens with that.
Because have time to watch the film and you go back over the Ole Miss game. What stuck out to you the most about that on both sides of the ball?
Well, first thing that stood out is we improved. We improved. Our players played extremely hard. That's kind of really what stood out to me. I mean, we still made some mistakes that we got to get corrected. Had a chance really to put the game away, on the offensive side, middle fourth quarter, and we had the turnover, and it made it a tough deal at the end. But there's areas that we can improve on. That's a good thing, and so our message is going to stay the same.
When you talk about the turnovers, obviously, you had two right there. What can you do about those, and other than stress it, obviously?
Oh, you got to coach it better. The players got to be more accountable. And you just got to be more disciplined. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And we got to do a better job.
The one on the exchange between Trey and Nick, what was?
Well, that right there was a run through. I mean, they didn't have a chance on that. That was just a run through. We had a bust up front from a freshman, and we got to get better. And that's the things that we got to get better on, and we got to stop making mistakes. But the good thing is, I feel confident that mistake won't happen again. But that was more up front than it was in the backfield.
Is Trey a guy who, when he comes off, says, give me another chance? To see one of those guys who wants to get back on the field to make up for that, or how?
Oh, there's no doubt. Of course, that wasn't Trey's fault on that. Like I said up front, that was a bust up front, and the quarterback and the tailback didn't have a chance on that one.
You talked about having an aggressive attacking defense, way up there in tackles for loss. How pleased have you been with, I guess, the nature of the defense so far?
Well, I tell you what, they were playing fast. Played in their backfield a lot of the night, and I thought that was a big key to the game. We got our crowd involved, and our crowd was unbelievable. Our crowd helped us win that game, and a lot of it had to do with our defense gave them something to cheer about.
Coach, Gabe Wright was telling me that it takes a lot of confidence to do well in the fourth quarter, and he was saying that this team has improved a lot over the past 6 weeks. What have you seen from this team from the start of the season and from now as far as mental goes?
Well, the biggest thing, I think our team has bought into what our coaches have tried to tell them. They're playing for the guy beside them. They're practicing hard. They're trying to improve, and so I think that's the biggest thing that stands out to me.
Gus, Nick got banged up a little bit in the end. How's he doing?
Yeah, we expect him to to be ready to go. I don't think it's anything that's too big a deal.
You're planning to have the practice this week?
Yes. Yeah.
Because when you look to get out of a week like this, because not to put down an opponent, but they've certainly had a tough go this season and tough go the past couple of years against FBS teams. So what are you looking to accomplish?
Well, like I said, I know I keep sounding like a broken record, but I'm looking for us to improve. It doesn't make a difference if we're playing Ole Miss or Western Carolina. We're going to go about the same way. We're going to have the same approach to practice with the same intensity. We're going to worry about us, and that's what we need to be. I mean, we hadn't arrived yet. We got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of areas we can improve on, and that's going to be our message. So I expect our guys to come out today and practice just like they have, or even better, intensity-wise and focus to detail-wise.
We talked about the success of the fourth quarter defense and how, they've held teams, and obviously the pressure was impressive Saturday, but how much do you worry about the big yardage? Again, another 450-yard plus game, giving up big plays across the board.
Well, I think the bottom line is find a way to win. And the guys have done that. And the plays you're talking about, I mean, we need to get better in those areas, and that's what we're focused on. As coaches, you focus on the things that you need to improve on. But a lot of times this season, when the game's been on the line, our guys have found a way to make plays, on both sides of football. And I think that says a lot about our guys. But as coaches, we'll definitely focus on those things, that can help stay away from those situations.
Yes, can you talk about the passing game? Is this a week where you'd like to go ahead and get that in sync and in rhythm?
Well, obviously you'd like to be balanced. I mean, that's the best offenses, are usually balanced, especially in our league, and we got to be more balanced. But at the same time, each game unfolds differently. And the other night, we were having success running the football, and our quarterback was executing the read zone extremely well. So each game is different, but ideally you'd like to be balanced.
You talk about that zone read with Nick. Was that obviously that was part of the game plan to get him more involved? But is he making better decisions on when to keep it?
He's getting more where he's more reactive and he doesn't have to think so much. And when you get to that point, that's good. Like I said, last week was really good for him, having the week off before that, and to get better at that. And he really did a very good job in the read game.
In all the years that Auburn's played, and for all the great running backs, this is the first time that you've had 4 different 100-yard rushers in a season in a game. Mm-hmm. What does that speak to? Is that the talent you have? Is that the play calling, or what?
Well, I think that first of all, we have 3 running backs. We've been saying that we feel good about all 3 of those guys, and they're all 3 different. And then our quarterback, we knew when he got here that he could really create things on the ground. The other night he showed a lot of toughness too. That's kind of what stood out to me. But we can run the football, and in this league you need to be able to run the football. Like we were saying earlier, we just need to get where we're balanced and be able to throw the football effectively to get some more first downs. If we do that, we got a chance to be a pretty solid offense before it's all said and done this year.
Gus, you talk about Carl Lawson and what makes him different.
Well, when we recruited him, we felt like his motor is really something else. I mean, he plays extremely hard. College football is a different game than high school, and it took him a couple of weeks to get everything down. And the last few weeks he's been improving. Coach Garner's had a good plan for him, and he just turned it loose and he played his best game. It was a very complete game, not just rushing the passer, but against the run. And if he keeps improving, he's got a chance to be a really good player.
What about a guy like Ricardo Lewis, who obviously had a good preseason, hasn't necessarily had that breakout game, so to speak? What do you see from him in practice? What do you expect the rest of the year?
Yeah, Ricardo's a very good athlete. He didn't play receiver in high school, and I think it's just he'll get more and more comfortable as he goes, and he'll have one of those games that that people call a breakout game, and then he'll figure it out and probably not look back.
How much has Nick's inconsistency the first couple games, been a result of him just trying to get comfortable, not just with the offense, but with the team? I mean, with players just kind of getting to know each other, like you said, spring, he wasn't there before. So
Yeah.
how much of that part of it, the relationship part of it, been an issue?
Really, his teammates have a lot of respect for him. He's kind of a quiet guy. He doesn't say much, but he comes to practice. He practices hard every day. He's got a great attitude. He's very coachable, and his teammates respect that. So he's earned their respect and really trust in a short period of time.
Gus, this is a week that you'd like to see Jonathan Wallace have an opportunity to play a little bit more than he has.
Yeah, that'd be good, and some other guys too would be good. That's best case scenario.
Coach, I was told that this is the 100th homecoming game for Auburn. What does that mean to you, and does that make this one maybe a little bit more special?
Yeah, first of all, homecoming's special anyway, especially here at Auburn, and if it is the 100th, that's even better. I know our players are excited to be back home, and the fact that it's a homecoming game.
Guess how did Brandon Fultz and the other guys who replaced Jalen, how did they grade out in the first game?
They did a solid job. Brandon played a lot more snaps than he has before. Kyle Frazier also was helping with that role, played a few snaps at wide receiver, but I thought they did an overall solid job.
What did you see out of Kyle Frazier, wide receiver, this week?
He'll do the same thing. He'll play some wide receiver, and especially now that we lost Jalen, he's a guy that understands the offense. He's a smart guy. He's similar to Cody. I mean, played quarterback in this offense. Cody picked it up very quick in the same type role.
Is that kind of why you made the switch, bringing him back from safety to wide out, or was that?
There were some factors. That was one of them.
How much was there, knowing the scheme and blocking, Brandon especially, out wide, how much does that factor in your decision to make them receivers like Denson?
Yeah, I mean, you look at us, I mean, we've always needed receivers to be able to block effectively on the perimeter, and that's a big thing of what we do, and so that's a big part of it.
I know CJ hadn't played a whole lot lately. Is he just trying to get back to full speed?
Yeah, he's just trying to get back to full speed. He was banged up last week, and I think he played one play, and he was about half speed, and so we just said, let's give him some rest, and we'll need him. We'll need him 100%, and he'll be there. He'll be there pretty quick.
How's Gabe Wright doing? We talk about all the youngsters on the defensive front, but how's he doing this year?
I really feel like Gabe had his best game of the season. I don't even think it was close. He's doing what Coach Garner asked, doing a good job with the run fits up front, and did a good job in the pressure, when they were passing up front too. So had his best overall game.
Is it almost easier for the youngsters to kind of make a strong push, compared to say the seniors and juniors, just because they're used to maybe doing it another way and then they have to kind of adjust to it?
I don't think so. I mean, we went through spring with these guys, and now they all should really be in the same boat as far as that goes.
Gus, Rodney had spoken in the offseason about, for Gabe in particular, he wanted to, in his words, change his collar from a white-collar guy to a blue-collar guy, just be a different kind of mindset, mentality. Have you seen that difference, and do you think having Del McGee involved has in any way changed how Gabe has been the last 6 months or so?
I think last week, definitely you saw a lot more blue-collar. I would say that was the biggest difference in the last week.
Gus, what about Casanova? What's the prognosis on him? Have you heard anything?
We got some good news for him. He'll be out there practicing today, and that was a scary deal, and it looks like it's going to turn out good.
Was it a stinger, sprained neck?
I believe so.
Stinger.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, obviously you want to take every precaution, but to see him come back, and then did that help lift the team? Seemed like
I think so. I know it encouraged me. When you got one of your players carted off, that's one of the worst feelings you can have as a coach. And then I looked up, and, saw him back there on the sideline standing up, and with a smile on his face, and that gave me a lift. I'm sure it gave the rest of our coaches and players a lift too, because we had some players who were very concerned too. It's tough on players when they see one of their teammates get carted off. A lot of times that affects teams in a lot of different ways.
Gus, it's been a while since we've seen a pass rush like you had against Bo Wallace Saturday night. You mentioned the sacks do a lot in terms of energizing the crowd.
Yeah.
What does that do for the entire team?
Yeah, that was a big lift. They're a good offense, good quarterback with scary receivers, and even when they didn't sack him, they put some pressure on him, made him throw the ball away a lot of times. And we've been talking about really focusing on being able to put pressure on a quarterback, and we also focused on our run fits, and those are the two areas that we improved the most in last game, and so I thought that's why it was very encouraging.
Yes, Jonathan Ford was a guy who moved to the defense when Jonathan Jones went down, other injuries took place. Is there any thought process to moving him back to offense?
Not right now. What we said, we're going to move him over there this season, and we'll talk after the season where he's at, but he's making progress. He's got a great attitude. He's a very good athlete, and we think he's going to be an outstanding player.
On Jeremy Johnson, probably still in red shirt mode, or is he going to?
Well, we hadn't played him yet. I mean, obviously, I know it's getting to a point now where you got to do what's best for him and what's best for your team. And but he's still getting a lot of reps in practice, and he's improving. There's no doubt. And then we got Jonathan's getting a lot of reps in practice too.
Anything else? All right, Coach.
Thank you.